English the way that only I can do it. And it's totally free. It lands in your inbox every single Thursday. And once you read it, you'll wonder how you managed without it. So sign up right now while you're thinking about it. Go to splashofai.com. Artificial intelligence is not going away. It's only going to get more intrusive in your life. You need to know what's going on. And my free newsletter will help you out. So sign up right now at splashofai.com. That's splashofai.com. Your Thursday mornings are about to get a whole lot smarter.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Sedla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Why didn't the command come on?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talkback here on KSYL. I'm Al Quartermont along with Stephen Maxwell, and we're trying to figure out a couple things here this morning. We have some new technology that we're employing.
Scary.
Dave Gratian is in the studio with us, trying to figure out why exactly our open didn't keep playing. But I think we're on the air, hopefully. So 318-442-8255 is our phone number. We have a great show coming up for you today. Coming up at 7:30, we'll be talking with Glenn Guilbeau. He's the editor of Tiger Rag magazine and has a new book out. You might have heard of it. It's called Everything Matters in Baseball, the Skip Bertman Story. It's basically a biography about the life of longtime and legendary LSU baseball coach Skip Bertman. And he'll tell us about a book signing that he has coming up this Saturday at Spirits. That'll be from noon to 2 p.m. in Alexandria. And Warren Morris will be there with him. And Warren wrote the foreword for the book, so he'll have a chance to talk with both of those gentlemen, Glenn Guilbeau and Warren Morris, and we'll tell you more about it coming up at 7:30. Then at 8:05, we'll have the parish, Rapides Parish Sheriff, Mark Wood will be here, and we'll be talking about this parish-wide millage renewal that will appear on the June 27th ballot. That millage, originally approved in 1985, provides continued funding for the general operations, equipment, personnel, and such with the sheriff's office. So that'll be one of the big issues on the ballot for you coming up on the 27th. And as we get closer to the 27th, I know we'll talk about some of the other things that'll be on the ballot as well. Mostly will be taxes, and then the Senate runoff, and then a couple of municipal races that are in runoffs as well. Good morning, Stephen Maxwell. How are you today?
Good. How's it going?
Doing okay. Not too bad for a Wednesday. How was your Tuesday yesterday?
Oh, just home with a sick kid.
Yeah, how's she doing?
Just has pink eye and little respiratory thing. It's not bad. It's just can't take her to school.
Yeah.
She's good, I hope.
So the wife's home with her today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she has school a couple days a week. So whenever that happens, and got to stay with her.
All right. So for you yesterday, then it was basically work from home.
Doctor's office and trying to keep up with everything that apparently was going on yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of nonstop.
Yeah, for sure. Again, 318-442-8255 is our number. Very Louisiana-related story that's gone national, and it is about Paul Skeens, the former LSU Tiger pitcher who has now become, if not the top, one of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball. This was kind of a cool story that was going around yesterday on the internet. And let me see if I can play it here off of CBS News.
10-year-old Ryan Dubis did a double take.
I told my dad that Paul Skeens was over there, and then he didn't believe me. And then I told a bunch of other kids, and then they didn't believe me.
Why would they? Paul Skeens, after all, is a local hero and one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. He of the unhittable pitch called a splinker. And yet, there he was, spending more than 2 hours signing autographs, taking pictures, and playing catch. What did he tell you drew him?
He told me it was an off night and he was driving and saw the baseball lights. And he said, I remember back to whenever I played Little League Baseball was some of the greatest moments of my life.
And right there on the receiving end, that's 13-year-old Evan getting his chance to toss a ball with a legend.
The fact that he got a chance to play catch with maybe one of the generational pitchers of his time for 30 seconds on his own Little League Baseball field is just a memory that he'll probably have for the rest of his life.
And all this the night before taking the mound against the Dodgers. And today, did you have those pinch me type moments or like, I can't believe that just happened?
Yeah.
And their dad says what amazes him most is that Skeens came to their park, just sat on a bench, not for publicity, but for the love of the game.
Yeah, so what happened was Skeens was driving home on, I guess that would have been Monday night, and he saw like a Little League park with the lights on. So he just stopped and kind of sat in the stands right behind the field and was just watching the kids practice. And then finally one of them noticed that it was, hey, that's Paul Skeens. And they said that the coaches, the kids stopped practicing and they all ran over to talk to Paul Skeens. So at that point, they just said, hey, do you want to practice with us? And he jumped in, and I guess he had a glove with him, and he was playing catch and in his flip-flops and shorts the night before he was ready to start against the Dodgers. So I guess maybe it worked a little bit. He only gave up 2 runs to the very mighty Dodgers yesterday, the best team money can buy in baseball. And unfortunately, the Pirates bullpen stinks, and they ended up losing, but what a cool story.
Only people that showed up to our baseball practices were the guys with beer cans in the back of their truck. So that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Making fun of you or what?
No, just like picking up their kids, I guess.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But Skeens' girlfriend, Livy Dunn, former LSU gymnast and kind of a mega star in her own right, at least on social media, she posted some of the pictures and video on her Instagram and was kind of like doing the, oh my, this is so adorable thing.
Don't you just hate social media culture sometimes?
It's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Well, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So what else is going on in the world of Stephen Maxwell?
Nothing. Just had a couple of stories yesterday. We saw a big police presence over off South MacArthur in that shopping center. A woman allegedly left 2 children in a vehicle that was turned off.
Yikes.
In the middle of summer. So the mother was arrested, or the person was arrested. And other big news story yesterday, Mayor-elect Town of Colfax, Tamika Hamilton Price, was arrested for allegedly driving under the influence. So that was a story too, and a couple other things, but see what happens today, I guess.
Been a tough week for Grand Parish mayors.
Sure has been. So, and you see the comments, and we've talked with Tamika many times here. Very nice lady, and we love talking with her. But it's one of those things you report, I guess. When you're an elected official.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, when you take on that responsibility as a municipal leader, it creates a higher bar. It just does. And when something like that happens, obviously a lot of folks are going to be disappointed by it. Hopefully, whatever the situation is, she can get that all straightened out.
Sure. And she is set to be sworn in Sunday. So, other than that, just nothing too much, really.
Okay.
No.
All right. Hey, by the way, if you were trying to get things done at the Office of Motor Vehicles yesterday, you might have run into a little snag. There was a major network outage yesterday after they started replacing a legacy piece of hardware on Sunday. it always makes you nervous when things start getting replaced, right? It's always a little dicey. So it didn't work quite the way they wanted to. Their head of technology, Thomas Muley, says it's part of switching the network from what he says is the equivalent of a 1992 Honda Civic to a 2026 McLaren 750.
Well, that Honda Civic, excuse me, might run longer than that McLaren.
That's true.
Still.
Yeah.
Don't be hating on a 1990 Civic.
So during the migration, they're experiencing some connectivity issues. Either individual users or individual offices or individual programs are having problems connecting to the new system. The network outages forced some OMV offices around the state to close, and some online services were affected as well. But they say they're not sure when everything will be back up and running. So that's reassuring. Doesn't seem like in the past, like different offices that you work at, the dealing with kind of the IT people is always interesting, you know?
Did you try turning it off and on again?
Exactly.
Just unplug it and plug it back in. Or then you ask for help and you were genuinely confused.
Yeah.
And they walk up and they're like, "Oh, you didn't turn it on." You're like, "Oh." Well, I'll always have like software issues, especially at my old job where the old television station company we worked for. They would change systems every 3 days.
Right.
Like, "Oh, we've got a new email software. Oh, we got a new way to communicate with each other, how to do your benefits.
The way to do your time card.
Yeah, just nonstop changes. And then it would be confusing with 75 different passwords.
Right.
And then you'd ask them and they'd be like, and I'm like, okay. So you just kind of become numb to the criticisms and you're having like a silent fight or something.
Yep. Well, I will say this, at LC, we have some really great IT people. They're like spot on, help you immediately. So I appreciate that. And of course, here at the station, Dave's kind of our IT guy. He's the DJ / program director / IT director /
engineer,
coffee maker / anything and everything we need him to be. So we appreciate that. Hey, let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I saw the story on UrbanCast Facebook page yesterday about the mayor-elect's Colfax, and it saddened me because it sounded a lot like the Carmela Anthony case. A lot of people showed a real perceived racism. And, it was a state trooper that stopped her. And, you can't tell who's driving a car when you come up behind them and they're driving erratically, or you perceive them from a distance driving erratically. That's difficult. I try looking at GPS trucks and I see if I can recognize the drivers, and I can't tell. And I know I've known these guys for 40 years. So that really saddened me. The comments also, one guy said, can't anyone have any little fun? And, if you've lost someone, I've lost a loved one to drunk driving, and it's not fun. It's behavior. And I really wish the penalties were much more severe for drunk driving. I think they're way too lax. But if you read the comments, and I know these are just the people who took the time to comment, so they're the more motivated of the public. But it was sad that they would accuse the state police of racism in complete absence of facts. The woman there's no way they knew her car and they were looking for her car. I don't think they were. Now, if it had been a local police officer, maybe. But state troopers, they just see a car acting erratically, and in the interest of safety of the electorate, they stopped the car. And then, they couldn't have given her a citation or arrested her for drunk driving if she didn't have it in her system, So, and the complete pass they give the individual, it saddens me. It shows that we have a less than fully mature population, and it just breeds division. So anyways, I know y'all are up against the heartbreak, but thanks for letting me speak my piece. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much. That tends to happen a lot online, doesn't it?
Well, besides the racism points, the one thing that did disturb me on some of the other news outlets' post is comments that say, "Oh, well, everyone kind of does it," or "Every one of us is drunk and drive," and this and that and the other. That's pretty serious business. Kills a lot of people. So that's kind of disturbing. So there's probably a lot of them out there, as we know. But not something to be taken lightly, I would say, for sure.
No, and we live in such a different world now than, let's say, like 25 years ago when that would have happened, before you had social media. I mean, people would have talked about it, sort of in the community or whatever. But now with the online opportunity to weigh in, it's a whole different thing. And sometimes it kind of gives you an insight into the people that are around us. Like you said, for people to be kind of dismissive about it, oh, everyone does it. Yeah, no, that's not really going to fly. So, and then once you start mixing racial things into it, then that's a whole other ball game. And certainly we've seen that in one of the larger major stories the last couple of days, the trial of Carmelo Anthony in the murder of the young man, Austin Metcalf, back in 2025, saw just a lot of, so sadly, racial division on that, when it really should be about human division. One family has been separated from their son forever, and now another family, their son's going to go away for what could be a long time, 35 year sentence. Anywhere they're saying from like 5 to 35 years. Hoping more on the 35 side of that. But anyway, we need to take a break, and we'll come back with more. Glenn Guilbeau will join us next.
KSYL.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. El Nino has formed across the Pacific, setting the stage for months of droughts, floods, and temperature fluctuations that can damage crops and strain power grids. The climate phenomenon is the first since 2023, and it could be one of the strongest on record. It's expected to intensify in the coming months. Turning to trading, it was a mixed finish on Wall Street yesterday. Tech shares weighed on the S&P 500, which fell 0.3%. However, the Dow rose 86 points. This morning, investors are following developments in the Middle East as the U.S. and Iran exchange strikes. Futures are looking at a lower open. And Starbucks is said to be considering options for its Japanese business, including selling a stake in the unit. An initial public offering is also an option. Japan is one of Starbucks' biggest markets, with about 2,100 stores. The coffee chain recently sold a majority stake of its Chinese business. Starbucks declined to comment. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Summer is here and fun is growing at Rapides Parish Library. Plant a seed, read. Our summer reading program has sprouted. Enjoy hands-on activities, exciting weekly entertainment, and track your reading to win cool prizes all summer. From kids to parents, everyone can dig in, grow their minds, and keep the summer slump from taking root at RPL. Visit rpl.org to see what's blooming near you and start growing today.
Good morning. A mixture of sunshine and clouds on our Wednesday. It is going to be a nice day. Got the slight possibility of a shower or thunderstorm. About a 20% chance of that. We're not going to worry about that too much. Afternoon highs near 93. Now tonight, few clouds. Overnight, we'll see the overnight lows down to 74. And then for Thursday, again, a mixture of sunshine and clouds. That chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. Highs near 94. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, welcome back, everyone, on Talk Back. I'm Al Quartermont, along with Stephen Maxwell. Glad you could be with us today here on the show, and very excited for our next guest. Glenn Guilbeau is the editor of Tiger Rag Magazine, author of the new book, Everything Matters in Baseball, the Skip Bertman story. He's going to be in town Saturday for a book signing. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. And a former writer with the Town Talk, Glenn Guilbeau, joins us. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. It's been a while since I was at Town Talk, but those were good times in Alexandria.
Was that your first job out of college?
No, actually, I'm back at my first job. At Tiger Rag.
Yeah.
My first job out of school was at Tiger Rag magazine, and then I worked at the Montgomery Advertiser. I covered Alabama back when Ray Perkins was the football coach. Shortly after Bear Bryant retired, And then started working at the Town Talk in 1987 and covered LSU from 1989 through 93 when I went to the Mobile Press Register there in Alabama.
Awesome. So obviously you have been around LSU sports for a long time. Can you remember your first encounter or time to maybe interview Skip Bertman?
Yeah, actually, that's a cool story. He actually brought that up when he asked me to do the book a few years ago. The book's been out since 2022, but I started working on it in 2018. And when I had just started at Tiger Rag, when I finished college at Missouri, it was fall of '83, and he had just gotten the job from being Miami's assistant that spring and summer of '83, and he had a press conference that September. And so I was at his first press conference, and I had met him before that, interviewed him in his office. He used to have an office in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center right across the hall from Coach Brown, Dale Brown. So, yeah, I've known him since the very beginning, and I was actually his first scoreboard operator at the Alex Box game while I was working at Tiger Rag. But yeah, he's been a great friend, and he was real open and helpful with the book. I mean, I interviewed him a dozen times on his kitchen table at his house, and it was just a great experience to get to know him.
Oh, I can imagine. And I'm sure neither you nor he could have imagined what LSU baseball would eventually become when you talk about the new Alex Box today and just all the College World Series championships that have come since then.
Yeah, no question. And it's funny. I remember working at the Town Talk one night when I got a call from the Bolton coach to tell me that a guy named Warren Morris had agreed to be a preferred walk-on at LSU. He was actually originally a walk-on, and he was redshirted in that '93 season. He had committed in '92, and then he was a freshman in '94, junior in '96 when he hit the home run. And I just remember taking that call and not knowing who he was at the time. Mm-hmm. He certainly exploded, and Warren wrote the foreword for the Skip Bertman book that we're going to be selling Saturday at Spirits. That's from noon to 2 p.m. Warren and I will be signing the books. They'll be for sale at Spirits from noon to 2. You can bring a book if you've already bought one and get Warren to sign it, or buy one there. And Skip will not be there, but he's pre-signed a lot of books that we're going to be selling at Spirits as well. And Warren has some great stories about Skip, and his forward was really great. It was as good as a lot of the book. But it's been fun keeping up with Skip lately. He just doesn't travel as much anymore.
Sure. How old is Skip Bertman now?
I think he's like I should know that. I think he's 88 now.
Wow.
I just had a birthday in May.
Okay.
And he's had some ups and downs, but he's still pretty healthy. He was he went to a lot of the home baseball games. Of course, he was in Omaha last year, so he's still kicking.
Yeah, you're correct. He is 88 years old. That's amazing. And really just a fixture at those home games. You mentioned Warren. A story about him that always kind of resonates with me is when they did that documentary on the home run a few years ago, he was talking about how here in Alexandria, everyone knows him as Warren Morris from the bank. But when he goes to LSU, he's hailed as more of a celebrity. And for his daughters, when they started to kind of get old enough to realize what was happening, they were sort of shocked to see how popular their dad is down in Baton Rouge.
Right. It's funny, I have a Tiger Rag radio every Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. And last night we had Eddie Furness and Warren Morris. Eddie Furness and Todd Walker, and we're all talking about the Warren Morris home run. We had Warren on a few weeks ago, but when Todd was in his last season in '94, Warren was his backup, and he was talking about how people don't realize how fast Warren was when he was playing. They used to call him Mercury Morris. And he said, and Todd was saying, you know, he's a quiet kid, just a real nice kid, and couldn't have had that home run couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. And you know, he kind of waited his turn like he had to do at LSU, particularly at that time. And you know, just became a great player. And he really had a good sophomore season, and he was hurt his whole junior year. And then, you know, got to Major League Baseball relatively quick with the Pirates. And people forget too, after that home run in '96, he hit a bunch of home runs for the Olympic team during the trials, and then in the 1996 Summer Olympics were in Atlanta. He was on that team. Skip was the coach, and they won the bronze medal. But he would have been a great power hitter had he come back to LSU for a senior season. But obviously, he knew he could do no better than he did on June 8th, 1996.
That's kind of a peak moment for somebody. And he had a really great rookie year with the Pirates. I think he was third in the National League Rookie of the Year voting, and then kind of ran into some injuries again that sort of derailed what I thought was going to be a really nice long career for him.
Right, and you know, he was playing during the steroids era too, and he obviously never got into that. And a lot of other players were able to prolong their career for that, but Warren was a good type to do that, along with there were several other players, but a lot of them were.
Yeah, for sure. Glenn, I know there's a lot I want to talk to you about sports-wise. We're going to have you back on the show on Friday in our 8 o'clock hour where we can kind of go a little bit longer. But today we really wanted to focus on letting people know about the event coming up on Saturday. So give us all those details again.
Yeah, 12 o'clock to 2 at Spirits. We're going to be on the back deck, and there's going to be either a World Series game or pregame on during that time, and it's scheduled for 2. But if there's still people there, obviously we'll stay a while after. And I'm going to be there early. Come by early if you want. And I've invited all the former Town Talk writers, Town Talk people who were there when I worked, if there's still any left, to stop by. And Gary Perkins, who was the original owner of Spirits when it was further down Texas, and I actually had my going away party in 1993 at Spirits at that spot before I went to Mobile. So I'm hoping Gary can come. I sent him a message, but it should be a lot of fun. And the best part is you get to meet Warren Morris and get his autograph on a book. I know my wife has asked me to get Warren's autograph, not mine. Warren's.
Of course. Speaking of your Town Talk time, a former staffer asked me that I would ask you today, have your golf cart driving skills improved since you got a cart stuck between 2 trees at Alpine back in the day?
Wow. I wonder if that was John Marquez.
The councilman.
Yes, the new politician. Yeah, that was Alpine. Where was that course? Was that on the base or?
No, that was up near Tioga, that area.
Oh, okay, that's right. Right. Yeah, that's kind of vague. Maybe I hit my head. I don't remember, but I remember having some adventures on the golf course out at the base too. But yeah, there's a lot of stories. Some we can't talk about on the air, probably.
All right. Well, let's talk about some more of those on Friday then.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I hope Bob Tompkins can come out too. He was my sports editor at the time. He was a good golfer. But no, thanks a lot for having me.
Yes, sir. Glenn Guilbeau, editor of Tiger Rag. Again, that event coming up at Spirits on Saturday from noon to 2 p.m. You can come out and meet him and also Warren Morris and get signed copies of that book. Again, Everything Matters in Baseball, the Skip Bertman story. We'll be right back.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Cenla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
A man's word should still mean something. Honesty matters. Character matters. So when John Fleming was hauled into court twice in 2 months for running untruthful ads filled with lies, and twice forced to take down the lies. That tells you everything about who Fleming really is. Fleming's lies couldn't hold up before a judge, and his lies shouldn't hold up with you. Fleming hasn't just been lying in his ads. He's been lying to cover up his liberal record. Fact. In Congress, Fleming voted against Republican border security funding. Fact. Fleming gave your tax dollars to Barack Obama to protect sanctuary cities and block the deportation of illegals. Fact. Fleming lied about his job with President Trump. Lie after lie after lie. John Fleming is a fraud who cannot be trusted. Visit FlemingIsAFraud.com. Accountability Project paid for and is responsible for this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AccountabilityProject.la.
At Trinity Health Pace Alexandria, we listen first, then bring the right care to you. From medical care and social activities at our center to home care, transportation, and more. We help seniors stay healthy, independent, and connected to what they love. From empathy to expertise, we see all of you. Call 318-206-1020. That's 318-206-1020. Or visit thpace-alexandria.org to learn more about Trinity Health Pace Alexandria.
I start every workday morning off the same way. I stop in and pick up breakfast at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express. It's convenient, quick, and oh so good. Croissants, biscuits, breakfast subs, and their hot coffee is the perfect pick-me-up. They always ask me why I'm in such a good mood when I get to work. Improve your mood. Stop by Wilmore's any weekday morning from 6 till 9 and get your day started right. That's Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express right there on the corner of North MacArthur Drive and Bayou Rapides Road.
From America's #1 travel radio show, I'm Robert Carey.
And I'm Mary Carey with today's RM World Travel Minute.
I just booked some flights for Mary and me, and I'm curious how many of you know what really goes into the total airfare that we pay.
Well, there's the hard costs from the airline that cover their operations. But when Robert showed me the breakout for our flights that he booked, there's the cost from the airline plus 11 other imposed fees.
To put things in perspective, the flights were about $3,700 per person, but the actual cost from the airline was just over $1,400 per person.
The 11 added fees included things like passenger facility charge and transportation tax that totaled more than $50 each. A U.S. customs fee and U.S. federal inspection fee were another $15 each, plus the U.S. APHIS fee. That's for the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service.
Most puzzling is the other category that totaled nearly $2,100 each. Also included is an airport development tax and a passenger terminal facilities charge. That totaled more than $47 each.
The most frustrating part, there's no way to challenge these fees.
So the next time you think airfare prices are high, now you know some of the reasons why, folks. More travel info at rmworldtravel.com.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Al and Stephen with you here on this Wednesday morning. And glad you could be with us. 318-442-8255. We'll have some time for you until the top of the hour. At 8:05, Sheriff Mark Wood will be here. We'll be talking millage tax renewal, and I'm sure we'll get into some other topics as well. Certainly one of the major talking points in the community the last few weeks has been about the incoming Applied Digital Data Center in Boise. And you hear varying comments about data centers, concerns people have. Other people are excited about them coming here. And we also have heard for, I guess, a couple years now, Stephen, about the Meta data center in Richland Parish, which we were told it would boost the local sales tax revenue. Well, if you're a teacher in Richland Parish, you probably got a really big smile on your face today. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you know how Rapides Parish has that, quote, 13th check, which is based off of sales tax revenue. This year was about $9,000, I believe, for the full-time teachers and for $4,500 or so for staff members. I think I have that right. If not, someone correct me. Well, guess how much the 13th check is going to be in Richland Parish?
20.
Full share payouts will be $50,935 for 2026 certified teachers. Let me say that again.
One check?
If you're a certified teacher in Richland Parish, your 13th check this year, based on sales tax revenue, will be $50,935.
They're gonna make like $100,000 this year.
Yes. In other news, Stephen and I are applying for jobs as teachers in Richland Parish.
You know, I've always wanted to teach kids.
Yes.
It was an unknown dream of mine.
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
I'll teach whatever. I'm just kidding.
If you're
that's pretty good. That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, classified, which is non-certified, 17,472.
I bet you're ticked if you didn't get certified. But you'll still take it.
Yeah.
$50,000. So.
Yep.
Wow.
So they say local tax funds have grown almost 2,000% due to the impact of the Meta facility. I'm going to guess you won't see many teachers in the data center protest lines coming up.
You had them before, like, it's too noisy, and then all of a sudden they get that check, like, well, it's kind of like music to my ears.
Exactly. Who needs water? We'll just buy more bottled water. Of course, we're being facetious about the criticisms. We're not saying that that's the case.
Oh, I bet you it is for some of them. You get 50,000.
My goodness.
How many schools do they have in Richland Parish? How many teachers?
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, yeah, their sales tax go up. They're probably the biggest sales tax in Richland Parish. Before that was like Uncle Joe's Diner or something. Or the Chevron.
At the Dollar General.
The Dollar General. Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, that means teachers are making almost six figures.
Yeah. Finally.
I know what you're thinking in your head, though.
What?
You're like, teachers still be like, well, I was hoping for 110.
Yeah. That's what I told somebody that tipped me off to that store. I said they'll probably still find something to complain about.
I have to work 9 months out of the year and make $100,000. Come on. My whole family is public school teachers, by the way. So I always joke with them.
For sure. It just shows I don't care who you are, what you do. Generally, our human default nature is we find something to complain about.
Al never, ever complains about working like 10 months out of the year.
I don't. No, I actually don't. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
But he complains about this, John.
No, I don't.
Well, that's a pretty good little chunk of money for him.
How about that? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I thought Richland Parish was supposed to be a really poor parish.
Was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Hey, something I just noticed. There was a really good article in the Washington Examiner about the California elections.
Okay.
And my wife and I were traveling the other day, and we were listening to Hannity. And I was just flabbergasted. Apparently, one of the vote drops that came in was something like over, I want to say 20,000 ballots, and not a single one was for, was it Pratt or whatever his name was?
That's right, yes.
But
yeah.
The mathematical odds of that are just unreal.
Right.
I mean,
it's so obvious that there was cheating, but will they actually do anything about it? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, there's what you suspect and there's what you can prove.
True.
How do you prove it?
Yeah.
I'm starting to think, Californians, if you don't keep this up, you deserve whatever happens.
100%. But what's sad about a lot of California is you get outside of your major metro areas and you find a lot of areas that do have, more conservative type people. I mean, this is the state of Ronald Reagan, after all.
Well, but looking back, Ronald Reagan was more, center right.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can even call Trump a conservative or not. He's certainly a populist.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't meet the traditional in a lot of ways. I don't know. It just makes me wonder because they're like, well, you say it was cheating, prove it. Well, the people that could prove it won't because they're probably part of it.
Right. Yeah, even when you look at some of the laws that have been passed, regarding looking into it. Even now, there's a new law out that will limit the ability of investigative reporters to do work in California. I mean, it is becoming a banana republic there, sadly. Interestingly, we still have Hilton getting into the runoff for governor. But no, that one drop you were talking about, someone plotted this like on a line graph, and you kind of see the way Pratt's votes went versus Rahman's, and you just see this huge spike in the middle for her. Before it was low, and then after it was kind of steady, but that big spike, and that's probably the one you're referring to, where she got just those 20,000 votes in one kind of dump there. So I don't know. It's to me so disgusting. It's just so infuriating. But if they pass the SAVE Act at the congressional level, at the federal level, that could take care of a lot of that.
Well, we're going to have to change the U.S. Constitution to do that. You're going to have an amendment because the states are given the authority to set up all the voting stuff. The only time the feds get involved is if you're violating, the Voting Rights Act. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it's crazy. I mean, I'm starting to wonder what's the whole point, because at some point you cannot tax yourself into prosperity. I think it was Churchill said, trying to tax yourself into prosperity is like standing in a wash tub and trying to lift yourself in the tub. It's just not going to happen.
True.
You can only do it through value-added products and economic activity.
Don't mean to cut you off, but I just realized I got to take this break. We're at the top of the hour. So
sure thing.
Thanks for the call. Yes, sir. We'll be right back.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk Line at 442-8255.
A man's word should still mean something. Honesty matters. Character matters. So when John Fleming was hauled into court twice in 2 months for running untruthful ads filled with lies, and twice forced to take down the lies, that tells you everything about who Fleming really is. Fleming's lies couldn't hold up before a judge, and his lies shouldn't hold up with you. Fleming hasn't just been lying in his ads. He's been lying to cover up his liberal record. Fact. In Congress, Fleming voted against Republican border security funding. Fact. Fleming gave your tax dollars to Barack Obama to protect sanctuary cities and block the deportation of illegals. Fact. Fleming lied about his job with President Trump. Lie after lie after lie. John Fleming is a fraud who cannot be trusted. Visit FlemingIsAFraud.com. Accountability Project paid for and is responsible for this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AccountabilityProject.la.
Remember when eating corn right off the cob was one of your favorite summertime treats? Or how about taking a big bite out of a crisp, fresh apple? If it's been a while since you enjoyed these delightful activities, chances are your teeth are no longer up for the task. But now there's great news. The folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville are Cenla's dental implant experts. They're both highly trained and experienced in the procedure. Now with thousands of completely satisfied, delighted patients. They make dental implant surgery simple by using today's most current technologies, along with in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist. You'll be in and out before you know it, without all the anxiety. Plus, at Today's Dental, their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Go back to crunching all your favorite foods. Give Today's Dental a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 448-4540.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Cenla's best at Bricato's Restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Unleash the wild side of winning. Play Wild Win Doubler from the lottery. Win up to $20,000. Winning just got a little more wild with Wild Win Doubler. Why wish for luck when you can play double your luck from the lottery? Top prize is a whopping $500,000. Double your luck and double your fun with Double Your Luck. Louisiana Lottery, celebrating 35 years of reasons to smile. Must be at least 21 to purchase.
It's Talkback 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we are back. Al and Stephen with you, and we are out. It's the end of the hour, but coming up in hour number 2, Sheriff Mark Wood will be here. We'll be talking about that parish-wide Sheriff's Office millage tax up for renewal on the June 27th ballot. Important in terms of the funding of the Sheriff's Office. So we'll talk more with Sheriff Wood about that and other topics. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Why do you have an application for Richland Parish Educator on
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
A finger on the trigger. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump tells Fox he may order strikes on Iranian infrastructure targets, accusing Iran of stalling on peace talks. Airstrikes hit radar and air defense sites in Iran after the downing of a U.S. Army helicopter by an Iranian drone. Fox's Trey Yanks in Tel Aviv, Israel.
President Trump tells Fox News that the Iranian drone lodged in between the two pilots in this helicopter. They were flying very low. And so these pilots were trying to take down the helicopter with the drone lodged into this gunship without it exploding. President Trump told me that he is getting close to ordering new strikes against Iranian power plants and bridges.
Iran's military targeted American bases in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. In response to the American airstrikes, in the background of all this, a senior White House official tells Fox talks with Iran continue. Combat veteran and oyster farmer Graham Plattner wins the Democrat Senate nomination in Maine. He's been dealing with a series of scandals, and about 1 in 5 votes went to Governor Janet Mills, who'd stopped campaigning.
If you believe, as I do, that we can change our politics and change our country, then you must also believe that people can change.
He faces longtime Senate Republican Susan Collins in November. The Republican primary for South Carolina governor goes to a runoff.
Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evitt, who was backed by President Trump, and State Attorney General Alan Wilson advanced to a runoff for the Republican nomination. Evitt says she's ready for the next step.
If you want a business leader, a CEO, and someone who has spent their career outside of politics, I'm asking for your vote.
While Wilson says he's the most qualified for the job.
This is not something you get coronated for. This is not something you can inherit. Not everybody believes that. You have to fight for it. You have to earn the vote.
Sue Guzman, Fox News.
State Rep Jermaine Johnson was the Democrats' nomination there. Consumer price inflation, 4.2%, the Labor Department reports, the highest in 3 years. America's listening to Fox News.
We're living through a monetary crime scene, and your IRA or 401k is a key victim. Hi, Dr. Ron Paul here. In 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. After the dollar was cut loose from it, inflation soared. And in just 9 years, gold hit $850. People who diversified into precious metals survived and thrived. Today, we're in a worse position because we face inflation and massive debt. Fortunately, gold is still an option. My trusted friends at Birch Gold Group can help you own gold inside your retirement account. Plus, you pay 0 penalties on the transfer. Start now by getting a free info kit on gold. Text the word SHELTER to 989898. We're facing the same monetary chaos as the 70s with significantly more debt. Get your free info kit from Birch Gold. Just text SHELTER to the number 989898.
At least 12 people are killed in a mass shooting in South Africa.
Police believe more than 10 attackers were driven in a minibus to an informal settlement in the Cleveland suburb of Johannesburg. The gunmen moved through the area, opening fire on residents at multiple locations. They then fled the scene in their vehicle. 9 men and 3 women were killed. Another 9 people were wounded. Police have not made any arrests and say they're not sure about the motive. There's speculation the attack was linked to illegal mining. The affected suburb is known for its connections to that activity. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
A man from Maine is accused of holding a woman against her will, forcing her to marry him.
Daniel Ouellette was arrested at an Olive Garden in New Hampshire Sunday after a mom called police worried about her daughter tracking her location to that parking lot. Police say when they got there, they saw cigarette burns on the woman's leg and found a satanic Bible, a sweatshirt, and a bag in his car. The woman later told officers he forced her to marry him against her will a few days earlier, claiming he wouldn't let her use her phone and told her he'd hurt her family if she left. Court documents say Ouellette made the woman drive him around with a gun pointed at her, saying a religious cult was following them, and then sliced her hand for what he said was a satanic ritual.
Talk to John Pelosi. Ouellette denies the accusations. Democrats will try to break a losing streak at the congressional baseball game tonight.
The tradition of lawmakers playing ball dates back to 1909, and in more recent years, the game has served as a major fundraiser for charities, expected to raise about $3 million. Nationals Park, home of the Washington Nationals, just blocks from the U.S. Capitol, is again hosting the game. Republicans have won the past 5 contests, and the GOP leads the overall series, 47 games to 42. With one tie.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Again, our top story. President Trump says he is close to ordering airstrikes on power plants and bridges in Iran. I'm Chris Foster. This is Fox News.
Louisiana Radio Network News, I'm Michelle Southern. Citizens in Beauregard Parish are expressing disappointment in the 90-day sentence of former DeRidder Mayor Misty Roberts, who had sex with a 16-year-old while in office. Pamela Sleezer, who's been covering the trial for the American Press, says the prosecution sought 17 years.
The state made it clear that they wanted the maximum sentence, and they did not want it to be viewed as a leniency towards her. And they implored the judge to please not show leniency, to show that she must answer for these crimes.
Roberts also must pay a $5,000 fine, attend therapy, and is ordered to stay away from the victim and his family. 4 years after killing a Covington priest and parishioner, Antonio Tyson pleaded guilty and was formally sentenced to spend the rest of his life on death row. St. Tammany Parish District Attorney Colin Sims says they originally sought the death penalty, but then medical records were disclosed showing Tyson had intellectual disabilities.
Some disclosures by the defense far later than they should have been changed the course in our analysis and our meetings with the family, and both us and the family kind of came to the same conclusion on how to resolve the case.
LRN. State officials today launch an ATV-UTV safety task force aimed at protecting young people across the state.
Jay Cripple with the New Orleans Regional Safety Commission says Louisiana has averaged between 8 and 12 fatalities due to ATV and UTV wrecks a year. And kids ages 10 to 14 make up the largest group of youth getting injured.
Whether they're passengers or riding their own, those are the children that are most times getting hurt and seriously hurt.
The task force aims to spread awareness and educate youth across the state on the proper safety and procedure of operating these vehicles and influence policy to protect them down the road.
Hopefully we can start making a difference in these tragedies we're seeing with these bikes and UTVs.
I'm Case Kieschnick.
North Carolina State is reportedly investigating whether LSU violated state unfair trade practice laws during its hiring of men's basketball coach Will Wade. School officials reportedly believe LSU may have helped Wade avoid a larger buyout payment. Wade paid a $4 million buyout to leave NC State, though his contract called for a $5 million buyout if he departed before April 1st. LSU announced his hiring on March 26th. Michelle Southern, LRN.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
Good morning. A mixture of sunshine and clouds on our Wednesday. And it's going to be a nice day. Got the slight possibility of a shower or thunderstorm. About a 20% chance of that. We're not going to worry about that too much. Afternoon highs near 93. Not tonight, few clouds. Overnight, we'll see the overnight lows down to 74. And then for Thursday, again, a mixture of sunshine and clouds. That chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. Highs near 94. From the Zenlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk.
All right. Okay, think we're on. Test, test, test. All right, I think we are. Okay, having some issues with our open, but we are off and rolling now. Alan Stephen with you, hour number 2 of Talkback here on your Wednesday morning. Very pleased to be joined in the studio by the Sheriff of Rapides Parish. That's Mark Wood. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Al. How are you and Stephen doing?
Good. We're doing well. Thanks so much for stopping in today. And obviously, a lot going on, but something that you wanted to come in and talk about is the upcoming June 27th election date. That's kind of considered the runoff election, at least for the U.S. Senate, and a couple of local races as well. District 5 of the Pineville City Council. But there's also a very key item you're here to speak about, which is a renewal of the law enforcement district millage tax. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I want to thank y'all for having me. And, we just want to get it out there. This is nothing new. We're not asking for any more or anything different. Back in 85, then Sheriff Grady Kelly put this on there, and the folks were gracious enough to give it to him. It has been renewed twice over the last 40 years, and we're hoping that the citizens will continue to let us keep that funding to keep doing what we're doing. And like I said, it's not going to change anything, not a dollar. It's the same millage it was from 85, same thing.
And I know that we're in a time right now where people are not very trusting of government.
Sure.
And they certainly hate to hear the word tax. But
Yes.
when it comes to this is really a matter of this is what the community has to do to fund the sheriff's department.
Yeah, I mean, it funds the everyday runnings of the sheriff's department, and it's part of your budget. It has been for 40 years, and we want to continue that. And I think the guys do a wonderful job, and we want, like I say, we just want to continue that funding that lets them do what they do, and that's what this is about.
If it wasn't there, what would that look like the next couple of years?
That is probably about 20% of the budget.
Wow.
That would take a lick. And, I don't, people ask me, well, what if? I said, look, we're not even going to think there because I believe the citizens are going to renew this for them. I pray and hope they will. And we can continue. You got to have, it's just like anything else, you got to have that sound stability. And we try to be good stewards of the people's money and give them the most bang for the buck, what we can. And we have done some things with our resident deputy programs. We've built a new substation in the Hineston area. We almost have one completed in the Cheneyville, LeCount area. That should be up and running here shortly. So we're trying to do all we can for the citizens and show them we want to be good stewards of their money.
Especially around here, we hear a lot of talk of some police departments don't have enough officers. It's hard to find them, the money for that. You don't want to make it worse by not passing.
Oh, and that's right. And, it's hard to find somebody to do this job anymore. It's not like it was. Used to, we had applications. Everybody did it because it's a very noble job, very rewarding job. It's a career, really. If you're in it for the money, you may be in it for the wrong reason here. But it's very rewarding. I do not think that a police officer, I know in this area, makes what he deserves. If you go through some of the stuff that they go through. But like I said, it's a career. It gets in your blood. If you ever start doing it and helping people, it's a calling. We've talked about that before. You've heard me say it. It is a calling, and I believe that.
Another tax that the department is funded by is the one that passed around 2001. That's the one that funded the resource officers.
Yes, sir.
So are those the only two taxes that the department operates from?
I think there may be another one. I would have to, right now, I don't know, Al, but I'm pretty sure there is. But I know they have that one. They have the half-cent sales tax that you're referring to that Sheriff Hilton did that funded all the 60-plus resource officers and things of that nature.
I mean, I think in general, right now, the sheriff's office has a lot of goodwill in the community. You hear people say a lot of very complimentary things about it. So that has to be, I'm sure you're hoping a little bit in your favor.
And it does. And I'm going to tell you, I get a lot of, and I tell my guys, it's not me and the staff, it's y'all. it's the men and women that do this job every day that gives us praise. And when I go out and eat lunch or I'm somewhere, I get complimented all the time about my guys. And even folks from Avoyelles Parish and surrounding parishes compliment our guys because, they're far-reaching sometimes, and that makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. And I like to let them know that they're doing the job they need to do. And when you are able to go to the public in this situation, and I'm here with y'all, it kind of makes it easier, because folks know what they're getting. Yep. And like I said, we're going to continue that care and custody and taking care of this parish the way it needs to be. And that's just a passion for the guys, and that makes my job easy.
Well, why did y'all pick this election? How does that work?
You talk to your folks and decide when you need to do this. And we looked at this date right here and figured this would be a pretty good date. And, you got to do it sometime. So we just picked this one and went with it.
Looking at the Secretary of State website and the language on the referendum itself is, shall the parish continue to levy a special tax of 9.60 mils on all property subject to taxation in the district? It says an estimated 11.3 million reasonably expected to be collected for an entire year for a period of 15 years, beginning with the year 2030 through 2044. So it really wouldn't even kick in for a few years, but do you have people vote on it early just in case
That's right.
it doesn't pass? Then you got to come back and try it again.
Well, you want to know, look, for future projects, for grants, you need that stability. It's just like you have a job, you go to a bank, and the bank tells you, what you got. They want to look at everything, make sure you're stable, you can handle what you can handle. Look, it's my second term. I want to make sure that we're on good standing, which we are, but I want to continue that, and I'd like to get this behind me and keep pushing forward with some things that we have in our mind in the future that we want to do for the parish. But the first thing we have to do is make sure we're on stable ground here.
Do you have off the top of your head an approximate number of what the operating budget is every year for the sheriff's office?
Yes, this past year was around 56 million.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So this tax is only about 11 million.
Yes.
Where does the rest of that money come from?
Well, that's what we was talking about. You either have other taxes or other farms that bring it in. I wish you fell out of the sky or you could get it, but it don't work like that.
Yeah.
It's like everything else is funded by the citizens of this parish. And that is why you have to be very careful and I like to say, a good steward with their money. And we try to do that. We are audited every year. Independently comes in and looks at everything, looks at our books to make sure we're good. And we have always been up to par. I mean, we've never been hit with anything bad. And we're going to continue that and take good care of what the folks let us have to do with.
Absolutely. Sheriff Mark Wood is our guest here on Talkback. We do have a call coming in on the B1 Bank Talk line. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning. Many communities are fighting about flock cameras being used in their communities, which I know you know about, but I need to let the public know that these cameras take much more than just a picture of your license plate. Flock cameras take multiple pictures of a person in a car or at the park with your kids or your kids at the park by themselves. And as a 30-year security tech analyst, my fear is that this location data is being publicly available to anyone who wants to access it. And this loose data possibly puts domestic violence victims as well as children at risk. Do you endorse flock cameras being used in your parish?
Any cameras that we have that we use in our parish is you're gonna have to get search warrants. You just can't access them. Nobody can access them cameras. I don't know if there's cameras out there that people can get access to. I don't want to speak out of mind or out of place on that. But I do know the ones that we have, that we use, nobody has access to them but us, law enforcement.
And that's why I called, because you guys are doing it right. And I just want to make sure that those cameras are very well scrutinized if they do decide to be promoted in your community. Sir. I appreciate the work you do. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got, I got my chief financial officer, David Crutchfield, just sent me a text.
Okay.
There is another 7.86 mil tax that is statutory. So just something to let you know how.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. What do you find are the biggest challenges right now with running a department the size of the sheriff's office?
Always finances.
Yeah.
But anyway, besides that, right now that it seems like, but you can talk to any, I don't know if it's a construction company, electrical, people's having trouble finding somebody to work. We actually have a pretty good, we're looking for folks. Anybody out there, please fill out applications. We are always short. We're not bad, but we're always needing some folks, especially in the jail, which is a very hard job. But that would probably be my number one right now, staffing. You're always going to be a little bit short. I mean, that's just goes with the nature of the beast. And I've lost several good deputies to the state police, which I cannot blame them,
right?
Because I can't match the money that they can make with the state police. And it's if you do this, you also got to support your family. So that's it.
I don't remember the specific number off the top of my head. When we had Chris Massengill on the show, he talked about the money that'll go to various agencies through the Applied Digital Center, and I know the RPSO was one of them that he mentioned.
Sure.
Have you been in those discussions, or is there more?
Been in some of them, yes. And but my deal is this, Mr. Al. Look, how many times have we had the rug pulled out from under us in Rapides Parish?
Yeah.
You cannot depend on something of that nature. We have to have, it goes back to that stability that I'm talking about, being able to say, okay, I got this. This is what we can do. This is what I can continue to do. So that's all this is. It's like I say, it's not going to cost anybody any more money, anything new. Look, I hope the deal flies out there. My fingers are crossed. We'll see what happens.
All right. Sheriff Wood, our guest. We need to take a break. More coming up.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Sedla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
A man's word should still mean something. Honesty matters. Character matters. So when John Fleming was hauled into court twice in 2 months for running untruthful ads filled with lies and twice forced to take down the lies, that tells you everything about who Fleming really is. Fleming's lies couldn't hold up before a judge, and his lies shouldn't hold up with you. Fleming hasn't just been lying in his ads. He's been lying to cover up his liberal record. Fact. In Congress, Fleming voted against Republican border security funding. Fact. Fleming gave your tax dollars to Barack Obama to protect sanctuary cities and block the deportation of illegals. Fact. Fleming lied about his job with President Trump. Lie after lie after lie. John Fleming is a fraud who cannot be trusted. Visit FlemingIsAFraud.com. Accountability Project paid for and is responsible for this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AccountabilityProject.la.
This summer, your next adventure starts right here in Alexandria Pineville. Shop local and find hidden gems around every corner, from antique shops and specialty stores to unique indoor shopping destinations. Whether you're looking for fashion, home decor, gifts, or something uniquely local, you'll find it right here in Alexandria Pineville. Make a day of it. Shop local, eat local, and explore Alexandria Pineville this summer with fun for the whole family. Visit explorelouisiana.com to plan your trip today.
Craig's Cleaners is now looking for some good employees. In particular, Craig's is looking for people with cashier experience and who have a valid driver's license. It's a pretty sweet job, too. Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. with no weekends. That's right. Here's your chance for every weekend off. So if you're interested in working for Craig's Cleaners, please apply in person at Craig's main location at 1746 Elliott Street, Alexandria.
Tell me, who remembers this phone number?
1426657.
The company you've trusted for years, Israel Air, is passing down all its quality services to the next generation. Their new name is Israel and Melder Air Conditioning and Heating, and they're still all about your comfort. So stay cool all summer long with a system checkup. Don't just swelter. Call Israel and Melder, serving all of Central Louisiana with quality and integrity. Ladies, could I have that number one more time?
1426657. 657.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
All right, we're back with Sheriff Mark Wood from the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office. We've been talking about tax renewals. There's a tax renewal coming up on June 27th that funds the Sheriff's Department. So you'll make sure you want to get out for that particular vote. Let's talk about some of the other things that are kind of happening. Tell us what's kind of the latest with kind of drug task force in the community.
Look, I'm excited about our guys, our raid unit.
Mm-hmm.
They're, you know, I hate to talk like that they're getting, you know, but they're doing their job, and they're doing an excellent job. We got probably, and just spent fentanyl, and I'll touch on that. We're south of 100 pounds right now that they have gotten, and that's sad, but it's huge. That's a lot of stuff. I'm thinking probably around 70-ish, somewhere in there. I can't remember the exact amount, pounds. And that's come from central Louisiana. And we've got some 10-pound licks, a 20-pound lick one time. And you know, Alpha, me, if I know something that's going to kill me, I'm going to probably shy away from it. But they, you know, I've talked to a lot of folks that have that habit, and that's the high they're chasing.
Wow.
And you know, I've talked to some of them, and let's say me, you, and Stephen, we want to do something, and they've learned this, that they may flatline. Possibly this stuff may do them in. So, okay, I'm gonna go first. I want you and Stephen with the Narcan in case I flatline to save me. Okay, I'm gonna trust you two rascals. That's also has the problem I have to save me if I flatline. But that is the high they're chasing. So we fight that as hard as we can. The guys are doing a wonderful job. And man, I tell you, you know, back in the day when I worked narcotics, it was you had cocaine, some weed, some pills, stuff like that. But now the stuff they have it's getting worse, and they're lacing everything with this. And I have personally, you know, good friends that have lost sons and daughters to this mess. So it's very personal to me to try to do something with this, because it's killing our folks.
Yeah,
and it's just truly sad that that vice is. It must be something. Must be something.
Stronghold.
Addiction is nasty. And so you usually hear about stories where, something was laced with fentanyl. They didn't know it, but these people, some people are actually looking for it.
Yeah, that's the high they're chasing.
Really?
That's what I'm saying. That is the high they're chasing, even though they know that this, you know, there's a, I was told by one of the volunteer fire departments, they have Narcan this one guy, oh Lord, close to 20 times in the past. And, you know, won't quit. I mean, it's just the lure that vice has got. So that's one of the things, like I said, that we created when we come on, is our raid deal. We want to continue that. Grant Parrish, my buddy Steve McCain's involved in it. He's with us. We fight that just as hard as he can, because we have seen the pills. That one pop I was telling you about we got, and it had the pressed pills, fent. And he went back after we told him, and they had stopped a car in Colfax, and it had the same pill. So it came from here. So it's, you know, it's central Louisiana. When I say central Louisiana, it's not just Rapides Parish.
Sure.
So we're all fighting this, and it's something else.
Have you seen any positive impact by how much tighter the border has gotten under the Trump administration in terms of drug flow into the community?
Yeah, and it goes back to supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? You may see prices go up because it's just like anything else. If you can't get your hands on it, well, they're going to charge a little more. And you know, the guys that make this happen realize this is where the money's at. It's kind of back when crack cocaine was big. And then all of a sudden meth hit the scene and the cartels realized, hey, this is where it's at. So they went to making the meth with the super labs and pouring it in here. Now they're seeing that the fent is the deal. So they're bringing it in through China, whatever. They got the super places and they're sending that in here. And even the one thing that I'll tell you one, it's pretty cool. These guys, we use drones and everything else. And I don't want to give all our secrets, but anyway, we have pictures of the Spanish guy coming in with the what you call the bag, the Army guys use. I went blank.
Duffel bag?
Yeah, the duffel bag. I mean, we're watching all this. My guys are, and does the swap with the guy, gets back in, he heads back south. I mean, it's unbelievable that, but you bring it in here, then you got these scientists on the street that are saying, okay, let's put a little of this meth in here with this this fent. No, add a little more fent to it. That's it. So you're buying this from folks that's mixing it that don't even have a clue what they're doing and shouldn't, and people are taking that risk, and it's very, very sad. There are some places out there that are trying to help, and if you know of anybody, look, I got 2 ladies that's all we do is put people in rehab, help families. Please reach out to us. We'll do what we can to help you. Sometimes people don't want help. Hopefully they do. Sometimes they got to hit rock bottom, and sometimes that brush with death, I've seen it. It does scare them. It will scare them straight. But that hard user doesn't faze him. Doesn't faze him. Even that brush with death. So that's why I'm saying the lure of that stuff. It must be something.
I mean, the marketing too. Whenever we were over there, they had like Louis Vuitton stamped on the drugs and all sorts of stuff. It was.
Yeah. I mean, you've watched the American Gangster, with Denzel Washington back then, Blue Magic.
Yeah.
And then he would go out because he wanted to see using his stuff. That's what I guess it's kind of like a pride thing or something, and some of these folks, and it goes with the keys that they get in here, they'll be stamped. Cartels have their certain stamp. They're tracking it, so they want to know. It's unbelievable that, it goes back to America's hunger or wanting. So that's why they flooded in here, is where the money's at.
Yeah, people didn't use, there'd be no market.
That's exactly right, Al. Exactly right. I mean, if you leave it alone and you don't, but it's supply and demand, and the demand is great. America, look, it's not the best country in the world. It is I think the greatest country in the world. The things that we do, what I meant to say, the things that goes on maybe not be the best, but it is by far the best, the greatest country. Look at that mess going on in California right now. We talked about that a while ago. Unbelievable. So we're not perfect, but if you go to these other countries, and if you've ever been into Mexico, you understand why they're trying to get here. There's rich, there's poor, there's no in between down there, and so we don't get it right up here. But I think it's, I wouldn't live anywhere else. Let's put it that way. What little I've seen.
Yes, sir. All right, Sheriff Mark Wood, our guest here on Talkback. Thank you so much. And
thank you,
again,
Al.
folks, get out and vote on June 27th.
Thank y'all much.
All right.
And like I said, just want to touch real quick, just a renewal, Al. That's all it is. We're just asking for continuing funding of what we have. That's it. Thank y'all.
All right.
Thanks,
thank you.
sir.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. We are seeing some negativity on Wall Street as investors eye headlines from the Middle East and also that new report out on inflation. Listen up, if you're taking care of someone older, your life could be about to become a lot more difficult. Tens of thousands of Haitian immigrants who care for ill and aging Americans could soon be forced to leave the U.S. if the Supreme Court rules the Trump administration can revoke their temporary protected status. Soccer teams are trying to train a body part of players they've ignored for a long time, talking about the brain as researchers at European football clubs try to measure and boost game intelligence. Whole new industry of virtual reality machines and cognitive training systems is scoring as teams hope for a new competitive edge. And brides are hiring witches on Etsy and elsewhere to save their wedding days, paying between $5 and $30 to cope with the stress and financial pressure of planning a wedding. One witch says they're casting about 70 spells a week for sunny 70-degree days. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Problems. Everybody hates them, but everybody's got them. And now that it's getting hot again, you need to know about Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Got a cooling problem? Call Southern Air. Plumbing or drain problem? It's Southern Air again. Your power's out and you need a generator? Guess who? And keep those problems away all summer long with a system tune-up. Keep your family comfortable. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling now at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Saints are back on the practice field for OTAs. Kat Terrell of ESPN.com will be there. She'll join us to recap 3 to 6. Alexandria's 94.7 ESPN.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app. Know before you go.
Good morning, a mixture of sunshine.